arm, fighting with law enforcement, fighting with fire department. I mean, say what you want, but firefighters are our heroes, frankly. They go into places that we would never dare go into, and they risk life and limb to protect us, and then come to find out that Mr. Davidson was fighting with them.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, sir. You've had the opportunity, Mr. Davidson. You've been to prison before. People, State of Michigan versus Gerald James Edward Davidson, file number 247211H. Time of day set for Mr. Davidson's sentence. He is present, represented by Attorney Kyle O'Neill. People are represented by Prosecuting Attorney Timothy J. Wachowski. On April 21st of this year, the defendant pled no contest to the following: operating while intoxicated in third offense, 2 counts of resisting obstructing a police officer. Ms. Karen Everland's prepared the pre-sentence report dated June 5th of this year. Mr. O'Mara, have you and your client had the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report?
Yes, sir.
Are there any additions, deletions, corrections, or objections to the report?
No, Your Honor. If you recall, when we were last before the court, there was some question about whether one of Mr. Davidson's prior convictions, he had received a judgment sentence that indicated the file had been dismissed. We've since confirmed Mr. Wachowski provided a copy of the jury verdict form showing that he was in fact convicted of that.
He was. Okay, I didn't hear that. I apologize.
I've explained that to Mr. Davidson, so otherwise there are no additions, deletions, and corrections.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson, do you agree with that, sir?
Yes.
Mr. Wachowski, any objection to the report as well as guidelines?
No, Your Honor.
Any objections according to guidelines, Mr. O'Mara?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Davidson?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, as indicated in the pre-sentence report, Mr. Davidson has had a very difficult life. Unfortunately, I would classify him as a textbook case of a person with a very troubled childhood, which leads to self-medication, which leads to active addiction. Mr. Davidson was suffering physical, emotional, and sexual abuse as a child. There were abuse and neglect proceedings initiated against his parents. He spent a significant amount of time institutionalizing the system as it were following those abuse and neglect proceedings. And Mr. Davidson turned to alcohol at a very young age largely as a result of those issues. The report indicates that he began consumption of alcohol at the age of 9. Reported to me that basically by the time he was a teenager, that was daily use of alcohol in addition to other substances. Fortunately, Mr. Davidson has had some prior involvements with the criminal court as well. He hasn't really had a significant opportunity or say desire to seek out treatment prior to this incident that brings him before the court. There was a short period in 2016 where he participated in some outpatient counseling, but never significant inpatient treatment or significant duration meetings or anything like that until this incident. While on bond, Mr. Davidson voluntarily participated in an inpatient program at Odyssey House. He successfully completed that program. He has been accepted in the sobriety court program, and although not formally participating because he hasn't been sentenced by the court, he has been effectively completing all of their programming since he's been accepted. Mr. Davidson stands before the court today at 8 months old, which I think is probably the longest period of sobriety he's had in a significant amount of time. Mr. Davidson understands what the guidelines are in this case. The guidelines call for a prison sentence. Recommendation calls for a prison sentence. Mr. Davidson is asking the court to deviate from those guidelines and consider sentencing him to the Thumb Regional Sobriety Court program. I think if there's ever never were a case where the court should consider downward deviation in light of treatment opportunities. I think Mr. Davidson is a textbook case for that. He understands that if he doesn't follow through with that programming, that he immediately be back before the court, and that the prison sentence will be very likely at that point. So he understands the ball's in his court. If the court grant this request, that really is kind of a last chance. And I'm confident, Your Honor, that he'll follow through. I represented Mr. Davidson on those matters in the past. I think his own grasp of his problems with substances is much firmer, much clearer to himself now than it was in that prior instance. I don't think he really understood the severity of his problem with alcohol then, but I think he does now. And I think he's going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you. Does your client wish to address the court in light of the no contest?
I believe he does, Your Honor.
Hi, Your Honor. As my attorney said, in the past, I have grown up with all sorts of abuse, and that's not, there is no excuse for the things that I've done. I made a mistake. I have been 8 months sober now. Been
How long?
8 months.
Oh, 8 months. Okay. I thought you said a month ago.
No. I've been 8 months sober now, which is very good for me because I've been using alcohol as self-medicating for quite some time. Since going through this last accident, I've got a spiritual awakening and I got more insight on myself and the reasons why I was drinking. When I went and asked the courts to go to a rehab, that was for me to be able to better understand myself. And that's what Flint Odyssey House was. It's more of a behavioral therapy and substance abuse program. And they look more on the in-depth reasons why. And I know why I've been drinking. And that's the reason why we use avoidance is trying to change our substance abuse. So I'm not communicating with my family and trying to avoid them. But that was a big reason for my drinking. I'm very sorry for what I have done. And I do know now of the life-changing altercations that I've made. And I know for a fact that I'm not going to be in front of the courts anymore after this because I can't afford it for one. And two, that when I go to jobs and I have to ask people to take me somewhere, I feel less of a man. And I feel less of a man because of the things that I've done and the accident that I caused. And I am not by any means proud of anything that I've done, but I am seeking treatment and I am actively participating in the programs and everything that I can to help better myself as an active member in society.
Anything else?
I don't have my paperwork here, but I do help pass out food in the church pass out every month too. So I am participating in community events as well.
Thank you. Mr. Rakowski, anything on behalf?
Your Honor, I've had several conversations with Mr. O'Mara on this matter. And I would say that over the years, I've been learning from Mr. Wallace as it relates to TRRC or TRSC and the individuals that come before the sobriety court. They're high risk, high needs. And that's what Mr. Davidson is. Mr. Davidson and I would cross paths with their trial way back, I think in 19. But this circumstance is an opportunity for him. I would hope at some point he would acknowledge or at least apologize to the two officers that were involved, that were just doing their jobs, and the fire department that was down in the ditch trying to extricate him and his victim out of there. And they don't deserve to get into a physical altercation with Mr. Davidson. So other than that, we would ask that the court fashion a sentence that would allow the TRSC.
Davidson comes before the court with 7 prior felonies, 8 prior misdemeanors. His bodily alcohol content or blood alcohol content was 0.204. 35 years of age. He was on probation at the time of this matter. He's on probation for a drunk driving first offense, as well as another alcohol charge and a traffic charge, if I recall correctly. There was a dispatch received of a car driving way too fast, possibly ending up in a ditch, and the individual was trapped inside. According to the pre-sentence report, defendant grabbed the officer in charge's vest and arm, fighting with law enforcement, fighting with the fire department. I mean, say what you want, but firefighters are our heroes, frankly. They go into places that we would never dare go into, and they risk life and limb to protect us, and then come to find out that Mr. Davidson was fighting with them.
Your Honor, if I may.
No, sir. You've had the opportunity, Mr. Davidson. You've been to prison before, and this court has, maybe to its detriment, has always taken the side of treatment, because we know what prison does, we know what jail time does, and every opportunity has been afforded. And I respectfully disagree on this. It will be the sentence of this court relative to the count one in this matter. Guideline range is 14 to 40 months. Minimum is recommended. That's what the court is going to sentence the defendant to. The defendant is committed to the Michigan Corrections Commission and placed in their custody for a period of 1 year and 2 months to 10 years with credit for 83 days served. Crime victims assessment of $130 will be ordered. I'm waiving attorney fees. It's unclear to the court whether or not the defendant was employed. $68 in state costs will be ordered. In count 2, resisting obstructing a police officer, 1 year, 2 months to 4 years, credit for 83 days served. $68 in state costs will be ordered. As to count 3, same sentence, 1 year, 2 months to 4 years, credit for 83 days served. $68 in state costs will be ordered by the court. These sentences will run concurrently with each other. It's my duty to inform the defendant he has right to seek leave to appeal if he's financially able to provide counsel of his own choice. The court will assign counsel for the public expense. He's to initial the receipt questionnaire form requesting the assignment of counsel, both of which must be executed under oath filed with the court before each day.
Mr. Davidson, report to the jail at 5 o'clock this evening.
Well, he's going to prison, so what's the reason? What's the reason for reporting?
Get ready for the sentence.
No, I'm not going to allow it because it's a prison sentence. You're manifesting. I'll be right.